Sit down, please.
Good afternoon.
In relation to the content of the meeting, there were a number of conversations about faith and about the ongoing presence of the Catholic Church in Inuit Nunangat. There was a lot of conversation about residential schools and the negative impacts of residential schools on Inuit and the intergenerational trauma aspect of residential schools. There were also positive conversations about the role that the Catholic Church can play in reconciliation and also in Inuit communities moving forward.
Supportive of this process or ready to engage in this process.
A genuine, heartfelt apology would be a first step to start wanting to start healing. So that is something that I personally, as a former residential school student, that would mean a lot to me myself, but more so for my fellow former students. And a lot of them have now passed away. So, but it's also their children that are affected as well. So it would mean more so important to them to move on.
It is critical to move on. What would you like? What do you need?
I believe what I'm stating is that the Church wants to work with the relevant justice authorities, whether they be international or Canadian, and if there are allegations that someone has committed these abuse, that they need to be brought to justice, and the Church should not stand in the way, but assist those who have been victims to seek justice and healing. And this is but one way that the Church can continue to do that. And we need to be aware more of these particular cases so that we can be an instrument, not that we're standing in the way, but we need to be an instrument that is more effective in allowing these particular situations and individuals to be brought to justice.
Put that one. Okay. Those residential schools were set up to remove us from the land so that Canada could claim everything. And here we are, a century and a half later, with still no process. No process for our survivors to tell their story. No process for anyone to say sorry. No process for anyone to say what happened was wrong. And at the end of the day, Canada still has all the land, and there's not even a process for us to talk to them about it.
The microphone, is it working?
Yep.
An apology is just words, and we then need action to follow that. And part of those actions I've spoken about in that we need action within truth, reconciliation, justice, and healing. And for truth, part of that will be providing unfettered access to church and residential school records so that we're able to piece together our history in a better way, to know where our families were when their children were taken from them and where those children went to and which children didn't return home.